All right, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of What Are Your Thoughts? I'm your host, Allie, and I have a guest today.
Roommate Katie,
an in-person, real live guest. For those of you that have been listening, I know the last couple episodes have just been me explaining myself, justifying things, talking to nobody, but lo and behold, I have in front of me a real person that I'm actually going to interview on my podcast because I'm a podcaster and that's what I do.
Is that what you do?
No.
You do a lot of things.
I do a lot of things and podcasting is just one of them.
It is.
So hello, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to my studio.
Yeah, we're in the, I don't even know,
We're
humble
in the studio,
abode.
aka my bedroom, which I now locked so Aaron doesn't come in. He's outside doing man things in the garage. So, anyways, today's episode is me talking to Katie. Just a little backstory. Katie has been on the podcast a couple times. If you have been around for a while, if you haven't, this is Katie. She is my friend, my roommate, second time around. We lived together back in Seattle 2 years ago, and now we live together again.
2 years ago?
2 years ago, what the heck? And
last year didn't count.
Last year, 2020 didn't count. I feel like I can't even say 2020, so I'm just gonna stop. But last year didn't count. Katie lived in Seattle, and now she lives here, so I want to tell us where you got...
How did I get
How'd
here?
you get here? How did you get here?
Well, for those who didn't pick up on it, I was featured on the podcast a time before without using my real name. I flew into town just to podcast real quick. And while I was here, Aaron and Allie so graciously, probably jokingly too, offered, you should just be our roommate.
I know.
And I flew home and I was like, yeah, right. I still have a lease. I can't do that. Whatever. And then one night I texted Allie and I was like,
Were you guys serious?
exactly.
And we're like, yes.
So my lease was up in about 6 months from that date. And I just kind of kept it to myself and was like, I think I'm going to do it. And I didn't want to talk to anyone about it because I didn't want it to sway like my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the time got closer, I talked to my boss about it and was like, hey, can I work from California instead?
Right, because you've been working from home this whole time.
Yeah, since we're remote anyway, I'll pay for my flights if I need to come home for work for whatever reason. And that was pretty much my main concern.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked to my mom and I was like, you know, I know she takes care of my grandma with her siblings as well, but I'm like the closest grandchild to in the area of my grandma, and so I help out a lot too. And I was like, can you handle it if I move away? And she was like, you should go. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like this is my moment. I have to do it. Ironically, my lease would be ending right before my 29th birthday, and I'm not in a relationship or anything, so I was like, it's my last year of my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm free. Just go. Expand your horizons, and felt like I wanted to stretch outside of my comfort zone. So I basically packed everything I could in my car, shipped about 20 boxes to here, and now I'm here.
So you've lived elsewhere other than Seattle, though.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Seattle and lived there majority of my life, but I did live in Arizona for 2 years for college.
But other than that, you pretty much
Lived
your
in
whole
Seattle.
community, your whole life is in Seattle.
Yeah, and like the suburbs, but
Yeah.
mostly within the greater Seattle area.
And you've been here for like a month.
Yep.
I know it hasn't been like the smoothest transition, but
It's been fun.
How's it been?
The hardest parts, I would say, were finding a gym, as you know, just making a routine and like kind of getting my feet under myself, and like the grocery stores and the places that I would go that would give me some sense of home, and like Target. But
I know, I feel like when I moved here last year, I was like going to Target a lot, and then COVID happened, and then you couldn't go anywhere. But like Target was like, when I felt homesick, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to Target again.
I know.
Why? I don't know.
Because I feel like every Target you go to kind of has the same layout, so
Yeah.
you feel comfortable knowing, like, your way around somewhere. And it's kind of the same thing for Starbucks, right? Like, every Starbucks should have a similar recipe if they're doing the right thing. So you know what you're going to get by going there. And I think that doing those little things has helped me kind of feel more at home here to help me figure out, like, I don't have, like, the people that I'm used to
Right.
around. Thank God I have you. But there's nobody that I can just, like, reach to
Right.
if you're gone, being, like, a flight attendant.
And she gone.
She gone a lot.
She gone a lot.
And
Not
we miss
lately,
her.
but she be gone tomorrow, so.
Yes.
What, so, end of your 20s, if people who've lived somewhere in the same place forever, and they are like, I want to move, but I don't know how, did you experience, like, any guilt, or, like, any,
Yeah.
like, guilt tripping from your family or friends, and share whatever, you know?
Literally.
But, like, I feel like moving for, no quote, not having a reason to move is, like, viewed as selfish. And from what I've experienced in my own personal journey of moving to California for, quote, no reason, just because. You know, like, when you move for, like, a job or school or something like that, it's understandable. But it's like, oh, I'm moving to California, or I'm moving to Wisconsin. Don't know why you'd move there, but you know.
Yeah.
Did you experience that?
Yeah, there was
Could you talk on
literally
that?
a moment when I was like, all right, pack your bags, we're going on a guilt trip.
Yeah.
Because every person that I told would be like, but why? Like, I don't
Yeah.
get it. Like, why California? Or a lot of people were like, why not just go back to Arizona? Because they know I have a lot of friends and family there and I've done it before. And I asked myself that question too. But it's like, I needed to do this for myself. And for those that do know me, know that I also started a small business, You and Your Box, to practice being self-full. Like, this is for you. You need to do things for yourself. And yeah, I do feel really selfish, like, leaving my mom and grandma behind and the family and friends that I do have there. And kind of the fact that I didn't really tell a lot of people about it until, like, the last minute, because
Or till they're listening right now. They're like, wait,
Yeah.
did you move to California?
a lot of people still, like, don't know.
Same. And I've been here for a year, and they're like, wait, I thought you just, like, visited there, because...
Right. So yeah, I did feel a lot of guilt because I'm kind of the person that does try to see my friends a lot and do a lot with my family and be accessible and available when and if anybody needs something.
Right.
But I kind of had to put that to the side and realize, like, I have to do this for myself. I was feeling super stagnant. I felt like because I was born and raised there, that nothing felt new anymore. I felt like I was just kind of, like, existing at times. And I kind of want to get out of the dating bubble there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everybody there knows everyone, and I just wanted to experience something else.
You didn't want to be Eskimo sisters with another person?
Yeah.
Me either.
No.
No, I totally get that. I think moving can be viewed as selfish because, you know, like, I have friends and family back home. Like, I'm the same as you, like, being super close with my sisters and my parents. And, you know, I grew up there too. I have tons of friends there, and I'm always that friend that's there for everyone. And for me, because you asked, and everyone was wondering, if you don't like something,
Change it.
change it.
Yep.
You know, even like moving to California, if you don't like it, leave.
Change it.
Go somewhere else.
I do want to give myself, like, a true chance.
Yeah.
Right? There's been moments where, like, I just feel like I don't have a piece of comfort. Like, I don't know, like, what am I supposed to do with my extra time? Right? Especially the days that you're gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what do I do without her? But you're right. Like, you have to do it for you and not worry about the thoughts of anybody else. It's good for your mental health. It's good to stretch beyond what you're used to.
Well, and then
to
you
just,
can
like,
look back at your life and say, like, oh, I lived here, here, here. And, oh, that one year I lived in California or
Yeah.
Hawaii or Maryland or wherever.
Do people even know how many cool places you've lived that listen to this podcast?
They're not.
Yes, it is. You have the best journey. I swear.
I just think it's like, now I know, you know what you like.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with growing up somewhere and living there and starting a family and staying there forever. Everyone is different. And for me, I think, I don't know if it's just identifying as like that Aquarius free spirit. Mm-hmm. You know, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to change it.
Yep.
I don't like this, I'm going to cut all my hair off. Or I don't like this and throw all my clothes away. I don't like where I'm at, I'm going to move.
Yep.
I feel like I still haven't given California a chance either. You know, like I moved here last February and then
COVID hit. You haven't got to experience it.
And I haven't got to experience California like truly. And so I still feel like for me, I'm in a trial period. And now it's nice to have you.
Yeah. I told myself that I want to try to be here minimum 6 months, if not a year, and if not longer.
Yeah.
Because you never really know enough about, even like apply it to like a new job or a friendship or dating or anything else. Like, it takes a long time to really understand your surroundings, the person, like the area,
right,
all of it. And I feel like it's so easy to run back to what's comfortable, but it's so fun to like really get to know something new. Like, I feel like too, when people think of California, they think of the beaches and the palm trees and Disneyland and you know, LA
lip filler,
right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Shout out, I wish I could get some on my top lip. I'm too scared. But not like that filter that's going around Instagram right now.
Not like that.
But yeah, just to really give myself a true chance to feel it all. And it's been hard at times, but also rewarding and fun, and not to mention all the funny things that have happened to us since I've been here.
I know, you haven't been here for that long, but I feel like in the short amount of time that you've been here, many freak accidents have happened.
Yeah.
And I teased everyone last week. I keep forgetting I don't do episodes every week because I'm so busy. I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm also training for a marathon, and I'm like really fast and like super into it and like don't have time. So last week I teased everyone.
I wish people could see how sarcastic you are.
I know.
Right now.
I always wonder if it like transfers.
It does for me because I know you.
Dude,
but
it does not. Where Aaron and I go to physical therapy and like chiro and stuff. Today, Ian, the PT guy, I have like tight lats. And I was like, oh, what do we do? I guess we'll just have to cut them off. And he was like, what? No, we're just going to stretch. I was like, all right. Takes out notepad, like, no sarcasm at PT anymore. Like, he was like, he was like, I don't even know how to cut lats out.
You're like, does that part taste good? I'm confused.
Yeah, I was like, we'll just cut him off. And he's like, no, we were just going to do some stretches. And I was like, oh,
okay. Yeah, that's what I'm here for,
that's what I meant. But anyways, I hope you guys know that I am sarcastic 104% of the time and never serious. So, share with us some of your
freak accidents.
So your timeline here has been what? Are we celebrating like a month?
Yeah.
Been here for about a month?
About 6 weeks.
Okay.
And right when I got here, Aaron, Allie's boyfriend, being the gracious guy he is, like, everybody deserves an Aaron. Actually, they don't, because he's way too good. Not everybody deserves somebody
I barely
that nice.
deserve an Aaron.
Yeah. And he set up my ceiling fan with new fan blades. You know, there's no dust on them. It's all fresh and clean. Mm-hmm. And it's hot here, obviously, sometimes. I think I also brought the rain here with me, weirdly. But anyway, so he set up my new fan. So Allie and Aaron are gone, and I come in my room and turn the fan on. And at the same time, the light, the bowl that covers the light, flew off.
The glass bowl.
Yeah, the glass light cover flew off the ceiling.
It ricocheted off her forehead.
Literally ricocheted off my cheekbone and then broke all over the ground. And I had a black eye. And I didn't know how to tell them. So I just left. She
was like so embarrassed / felt bad that the glass broke.
Yeah.
And we came home and we're like, I see her in the light and I see like a bruise on her face. I'm like, what happened? She's like, I'm so sorry. Like the light bulb thing fell off. We're like, are you okay?
I was not at first. I literally remember screaming, like, what in the actual F word? And nobody's home to even hear me, and I just kind of freaked out for a second.
I don't even know where we were.
Well, they're both training for... Aaron's training for a triathlon. Allie's training for a marathon. They run in the morning or walk in the morning. They swim in the afternoon. They bike ride. I don't know where they were. They're training.
They're just doing something.
They're always active. And yeah, so I just felt so bad that happened. And then a couple days later, Allie and I are on a morning walk. And a squirrel, which is native to the trees, I thought, fell out of the tree.
I didn't even know squirrels could fall out of... I thought they clung to trees.
Oh, like it clung to my shoulder when it fell from the tree, and I panicked.
Again, it fell from the sky onto your head, onto your shoulder.
And it thumped, like you could hear it thump.
Scared the heck out of me.
It falls to the ground. I panic because I don't know what it is, and I accidentally punted it to the point its claws were grasping at the cement.
Mia Hamm kicked it, qualified for the women's U.S. soccer team, kicked the squirrel across the border, and...
That was it for the 2 freak accidents.
Was that?
No, I feel like we had some more.
Well, also when you got here, it rained every day.
Yeah.
But it was March, and I feel like that's just spring and
March.
Just
showers, spring, April flowers.
And happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. There was a couple other ones, but those were the 2 that were what
those
the F?
Stood out.
Were you in that moment is this a sign from the universe, or do I just attract freak accidents?
Both.
Should I be here?
I was kind of like, why are things falling from my head? Who's coming for my head right now?
Who's coming for me? Who did you wrong
in
another life?
But then I feel like you had a freak accident too.
Wait, the one where...
Oh, you mean right before we recorded this episode?
Right before we recorded, when I had to go tell Erin to be quiet in the garage?
And she slipped on the perfectly glossed cement flooring.
So me and Erin live in our house in Long Beach. We have a detached garage that we turned into our room, and we wanted warehousey vibes. So we have shiny, super slick concrete. And I stood up to go out to tell Erin to be quiet, and slipped, caught air, caught myself, and then stepped on the plug-in, and it's bent. You see that? It's bent over there. Bent with my heel, the plug-in of a lamp. So.
And if you've ever stepped on the plug of something, you know that hurts worse than a Lego.
It's what, yeah, I would say it's comparable to Legos.
Yeah, that's not okay. And she just laughed.
But
she literally caught air.
I'm in pain. It's okay.
I hope it doesn't ruin your foot for training tomorrow.
Probably will.
You can't run in Juneau, though.
I can't run. There's bears in Juneau. What else? Okay, let's have a candid, authentic. I wonder if people think this is staged, even though it's not. If they know us at all, or me at least.
Well, we're perfectionists, but not very good at it.
True. I think there's a lot of taboo, you can't talk about past roommate experiences or roommate. I think just it's awkward sometimes and hard. What has it been like living with a couple? I know it's not been that long, so you might not have a... Yeah. But I feel like people are wondering, because some of my friends are like, oh wait, you have a roommate? You and Erin have a roommate? And I'm like, yeah, I don't find it weird, but...
I think the hardest part for me is that, and I know I always bring up dating, okay? We get it.
You Katie, just want to crawl into bed with us.
At night. Is that if and when I start dating here, it might feel weird for me to, bring a guy back here.
Yeah. Because we have one bathroom.
Well, not right now.
We don't have a bathroom right now. So after this...
We'll tell you that story in a second.
Yeah, we'll tell you that in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. We should.
Yeah.
We can talk about the camping situation.
Yeah, camping situation. Will
Coming
be on
soon.
Next week's episode.
Ooh, this will be fun. I get to talk to you guys more with Allie. Hopefully you don't mind my voice.
Hopefully you don't mind mine.
We can go back to being Monica if you want.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, that, and I feel like because I'm a people pleaser that if I do something that feels invasive to the space that you've created for yourselves. That it's like you two can talk about it amongst each other, and I'm like the outskirt, and I would just feel like awkward. Like, what am I doing? Am I okay? Am I taking up all their space? Do they regret having a roommate? Things like that.
I just want you to know on air that we love having you here, and we're excited that you chose. I feel like you chose us.
I
like,
did.
Like adopted parents or
I
something.
know.
Like we were a foster baby. Like you chose us, and I don't know. It's fun. Like me and Aaron got to live together alone as a couple. We had roommates before, and so we got to spend this whole last year of COVID together, and it's been really nice.
Good.
And I think having a roommate has its like pros and cons, you know. It's like having someone in your space, having that feeling of like, are we being invasive? Like, are we making you comfortable? And like just the dynamic of like couples, it's like we want to like include you in everything, but then we don't want you to ever feel like, is she just including us because she feels like she has to, or like does she feel excluded and stuff like that? No,
I think that you guys do a good job of like having your time. I feel like your training stuff is totally your time together, which I think is really cute and really good to see for your relationship, because those are stressful and that's hard and trying, but somehow you guys are both your biggest cheerleaders, and I see it from like an outsider's perspective, you know, like you guys, one person will be running and then the other person rides the bike so that they can keep up with each other or help
but
motivate.
You did that for me.
Okay, I did.
You did.
Man, I rode that bike for 13 point something miles, and I could not sit or do anything with my butt.
Mind you, 13 miles on a bike, I think, is like for most people, if you're active, like 13 miles, I feel like is...
That's very doable.
But at such a slow pace.
Yeah.
I was like, can you walk? I had to check on her crotch the next day. Because for me, like, I'm still training and I'm still like... My whole thing is, and I hope you guys can catch and pick up the sarcasm, for me, experimenting and sharing with like running and training for this marathon, I want to show you guys that running is...
She makes it look effortless, but I know that it's hard.
I just want to show that, like, anyone can run if they want to. Like,
yes.
I know that phrase is, like, so overused, and, like, girls say it all the time, where it's, like, there's, like, room at the table for everyone. But I'm, like, if you just put on shoes and put one foot in front of the other, you are a runner.
Yeah, and I truly see that through watching you train for this, because even the days that you set out to run a certain amount and you literally try your hardest, and I see that, you're so humble in your approach at sharing those things with everybody else. Like the other day, you were set to run 4 miles, which is obviously way less than the 13 that you just did.
And I
but
couldn't.
Your body couldn't do it that day.
Guys, someone
and you
was
shared
like ripping my belly button from within.
And I even have friends that don't really know you, but comment to me about how cool it is for them to see that.
Like, I want everyone, if they can, or if they want to, if that's a desire of their heart, to run some sort of race, like a half or a marathon or a 5K.
5K. I'll
just
do the
because
5K. I am not a runner. I got a chest that will clap for me along the way.
Clap, clap, clap.
Rack City didn't.
But, like, I feel like there's so many people on Instagram or just out there that are runners that make it look like it's so unachievable.
Yep.
And it's not their intention. And I think when people share their paces and mileage and stuff, I don't think... I had to get to a place where I wasn't comparing myself. And also there's certain people that I just triggered me, so I had to just... I can't look at that. But for me, when I share that, it's like, A, accountability, and B, like... I feel like every time I run, it's like, if I can do it, you can do it. Because there's people before me that have gone before me that have done it, so now I can do it.
Who influences you in your running? Like, do you follow anybody that helps motivate you? Or do you think majority of your motivation comes within?
I think there had been people from my past that, like, I saw, I'm like, oh, I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, I had, actually, my friend Kelly, who, when I lived in Maryland, she has 2 kids. She's super successful, real estate agent. just like that mom that can do it all. And she would like on the weekends or like before work or before the kids went to school, like,
work.
yeah, like get up and run like quick 5, quick 7, like whatever. And I'm like, okay, I would literally tell myself like this was 5 or 6 years ago. I'm like, oh, if Kelly can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And then I had other people, and that kind of replaced like, you know, and then living with Annie in Bellevue, who completed a half Ironman. I'm like, oh, if Annie can do it, I can do it. And like
watching her train for that was
so inspiring.
Yeah. That girl would get up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
and swim in Lake Sammamish or whatever that was.
In the freezing cold.
Oh my God.
Like in the fall of Washington time.
That was insane.
And so I think it's just like differentiating the feeling of like pushing yourself and training and doing something because you're inspired and doing it from a place of inspiration versus like competition.
Yeah.
And I've had people in the past that it felt like I was doing stuff from a place of competition.
Oh.
And the way we vibed was very off. And I was like, there's actually not room for
both of us
at this table.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to a different table.
Yeah.
But there's room for you at that table.
Right.
And so you just have to find your table and invite you have to create a space to invite those types of people to your table.
Do you think that doing this because it's something you're passionate about and because it's like a healthy choice for your overall lifestyle is more motivating, or do you think that the fact that you are just doing it because you want to complete the marathon?
I think when people ask me, I think I just default and I'm like, oh, I just want to check it off my bucket list because I don't think they actually care, or I don't feel like I need to explain like the deepest desires of like why I'm doing this. And so like at work, like, you know, be on a layover, and I'll be like, they'll ask me like what I did. And I'm like, oh, I ran 10 miles. They're like, what? You ran 10 miles? And I'm like, oh, I'm just training for a marathon. They're like, oh, marathon, cool. And I'm like, they're like, what makes you do that? And I'm just like, I just brushed it off. I'm like, it's just silly bucket list. I don't know, I paid for it. Like, and then like, don't want to tell people because I'm like, do they care?
Well, I care. I want to know.
All right. What's the question again?
What is, like, where does the passion to run the marathon come from? You said it's not just your bucket list. So is it
I think it started as a bucket list. Like, it was actually after we went to Annie's half Ironman in Palm Springs. I think it was like a week or two later.
Look, I have the chills just remembering how it felt to see her cross the finish
Yeah, I
line.
know. I was actually just I was pulling up videos to show Aaron because he just got his email for his half Ironman in a couple weeks. And I was like, oh, remember Annie? And I was showing him like before she started swimming and then transitioning into running and as she took those last steps. So it was actually like Annie finishing that. I was like, I want to do a marathon.
Yeah.
I don't want to do a half Ironman. I don't know how to swim, so maybe next year. Signed up for that. Obviously, it canceled. Then it got deferred, and then it turned to a virtual one. So I was just feeling like, am I not meant to run one? Or is there something else for me? Right. And so I kept making excuses. I'm like, oh, I'm off the hook. I don't have to run it anymore. Then I found one in person in June, and I'm like...
I remember when you signed up for that.
It was the day you moved in.
Yep.
It was the day you moved in.
We were literally walking through Long Beach, and you were just like...
I'm doing this marathon.
Yeah, I'm going to sign up. Like, from her mobile device. I'm just going to sign up. If I do it, then I have to do it.
From my mobile device.
Tell people.
And then I went on my stories, and I was like, I'm running a marathon.
That's me working for T-Mobile that says mobile device.
Gang, gang, gang.
I work there.
Yeah, so I guess to answer your question in short, I think started off as a bucket list, then I felt off the hook, and then I just, for me, I think just completing something and like proving to myself like marathons are hard. Like really hard. And not everyone can complete them. Right. And so or even like wants to sign up for it because they already feel defeated just hearing about the mileage. And so I think for me, just that feeling of like, I did this.
Good for you.
And just like pushing myself. Like there's been many times lately where I just start crying when I run. Excuse me. Part of it is like a place of like literal pain because like pushing my body.
Yeah.
But then like a big part of it is like so much emotional release. Like I feel like it's
happening.
So lame, but I'm like, this is so therapeutic. Like when people said like, oh, I just run when I'm stressed, I'm like, that's stressful hearing that.
Yeah, that stresses me out.
I'm stressed for you now, but now
You've
I still get
point.
nervous when I like set out to run because I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But probably like mile 3 and 4, I get like weird emotional releases, and I'm like, this is so good. Why doesn't everyone do this?
Yeah.
This is free.
Right.
So.
And you're running in like such a beautiful area.
I know. Also, Long Beach is beautiful.
I know. Can't wait to experience all of it.
I know. Hopefully things start
opening up. Yes. We have some visitors coming to town, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to talk about running forever.
I feel like that's good, though, because that's the season of life that you're in right now.
I needed to talk about this.
And
I needed someone to listen.
It's been cool to, like, support you through that. I know that I respond to so many of the posts that you do, but it comes from a very sincere place, right? Because I know how many people you're inspiring, and me too. She even got me to buy a pair of, what are those, Brooks or something?
Yeah, she bought running shoes.
If you know a sports bra that I should buy, then send that my way. But yeah, I think that it's just so important because I feel like you do kind of like keep that inside, even though you're sharing so much of it.
I feel like I just share little snippets because I'm like, ooh, if I put myself out there all the way, how will I handle someone tearing me down?
We do need somebody to give us like tell us what you want her to hear from her, you know?
Yeah. Tell me, what do you want? I feel like I'm at a crossroads right now with my podcast and life a little bit, maybe. Yeah. Not really, that sounds dramatic. I really like my life and like where it's going.
But like your podcast. Like
but my
podcast. She was sharing with me earlier that she feels like she talks about a lot of topics, but people often say that you're relatable, right?
Look at her ratting me out like this.
But this is good. I think that this is what makes you relatable is because you share a lot of aspects from the areas that make us humble, right? Like, oh, I couldn't run the 4 miles, but to somebody, they're like, 4 miles? But to me, I'm like, 4 miles?
Right.
And sharing the different parts of, like, flying and stuff, like being a flight attendant. It looks so fun to all of us, but there are some parts that make it difficult.
Right.
And us talking about being roommates, there's some parts that are so fun, and then other times it's like, she has to always free up the wash machine for me when I come back from my trips because I need to do my dirty laundry, okay?
I know.
This is not me airing my dirty laundry.
No, this is me literally airing my dirty laundry. I have this, like, well, Erin and I both have this habit of, we just are used to living alone, and we have this habit where we put our dirty clothes straight from our dirty bodies into the wash, not thinking there's someone else that lives here and, like, needs to do laundry. So just when you think that you see someone's captured, what am I trying to say? Like, if you see roommates interact, or like boyfriend and girlfriend, or just any situation, living situation, and you're like, that must be perfect.
Yep.
And, like, for the most part, like,
I feel like it is.
It is so fun to live with 2 of my best friends. You know, I get to have a girl, and then I have Erin with me. And it's fun. Almost all the time. But it's like, there are still moments where it's like, we have 1 bathroom.
Yep. So, and speaking of that, we need to go check into our hotel. We'll tell you about the bathroom next time.
Yeah, right? So, things are not always what they seem to be, but just know that
we'll be back for toilet talk next time.
We'll be back for toilet talk next time. Is that all you wanted to say?
I think so.
I think that's all we literally had time for also.
I know.
So we got to go to bed because I got to go to work.
At 3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning. If anyone's going to be in Burbank, not Burbank. I'm not going to be there. If anyone's going to be in Juneau or DC, I will be there.
Yep.
If anyone wants to run with me. So, Katie, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being my friend.
Thank you.
You didn't really have a choice 'cause I've actually locked you in my room, held you hostage. She's fine. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like Katie said at the end, I feel crossroady, so whatever you want, not like I'm a robot, but whatever you want to hear more of, whether that's honed in on running, roommates, friendships, flying, being
anything
authentic, anything. If there's someone you're like, you need to interview this person, let me know. You can find me at my new Instagram. It's @__ water your thoughts, and that's where you let me know what are your thoughts.
Yes.
Have a good day. Love you all. See you next time. Toodaloo.